Everything changes when you're 20, 30 metres up a cliff.
Because I've never done a red before in my life. You gave me 5 minutes of tuition. Either I managed to put it into action or I gave up.
Constantly push your mental capabilities, putting yourself in situations that make you quite nervous. You just stand right up into it and put your hips in. It'd be interesting. I don't think you'd do it, but you might learn something. An obsession to latch onto, something that you can just do that will never go away.
So this podcast is for people who are looking to grow their ability to flow. Right, the precursors to flow are you're challenging your skill levels, right?
Yeah.
So basically it's out of your comfort zone, so we're challenging that. Know why you're doing it. We're doing it because we're doing a podcast. You're helping out a mate.
Yeah,
it's all good in the end, right?
Yeah.
Right? We're putting something good out into the world.
I don't know, like the kind of thing about this is I'm challenging you and you're also challenging me to do this. I've gone on and given you something to do, given you a climb to do, which, to be fair, I didn't think you were going to do. And I honestly went into it thinking, I don't actually think John will do this, because it is quite I'd say a reasonably advanced level of climbing, but I think the skill level is something involved in it, is something that you could have learnt. So,
Justin, why did you decide to go on your climbing journey?
Yeah, no, so I always liked climbing as a kid. Like I think most kids do. It's an innate thing. There was either, being a kid and climbing on climbing frames, or you've got like proper professional rock climbers that are at Yosemite Park that are climbing like massive big walls, like 1,000 meters tall, or whatever. And there was nothing in between where the general average person could just get into climbing. And then I discovered someone that I know was climbing at a climbing gym that was quite local to me that I didn't even realise existed. But yeah, so they opened up evenings and weekends for Joe Public.
So as I understand it, you went there and then you got stood up.
Yeah, so I went there on my own because the people that I was supposed to meet in didn't turn up, and I was the only one at the gym. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really rest between climbing because I didn't really understand what you were supposed to do. I didn't understand that there were coloured routes that you were supposed to climb up. So I was just traversing around and climbing whatever.
So the average Joe that turns up to a climbing gym will come in and be like, what are all these random colours? And they mean certain things.
Yeah,
you had no idea.
They're a particular route that you're supposed to, or a boulder problem. But I had no idea what I was doing. So anyway, I lasted 20 minutes because your forearms get so pumped. And that was it. Yeah, I had to stop because my foot was so pumped and it was really difficult to keep up.
Now, why did you climb and climb and climb and climb and climb? What was going on there?
It just feels really innate and natural to do it.
It feels natural. I think that's probably down to the fact that you were you found your way to flow state because it was outside of your skill level. It was a challenge. But did you go back straight away? Did it take a week? Did it take a month?
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much I was hooked. That was it. But the next thing that really got me into it more was going on YouTube and because I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was just climbing, but I thought, well, I need to learn more about this and more technique and how to do it. So I went on YouTube and realised there was a massive community, loads of videos out there on how to climb and sort of techniques and stuff like that. And yeah, and some of the amazing things that people do. It's so athletic. You're using so many skills. So you've got strength, which is, you'd think is quite a lot of it because you're pulling your upper body, you need upper body strength, but that is part of it. But there's so many other skills like balance, flexibility, and also mindset as well, because, you've got to overcome certain fears as well, because even though bouldering is generally about up to 4.5 meters, which isn't particularly high, but you still got a mindset of you could fall and potentially hurt yourself. It's particularly when you first start doing it.
I think it's high enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's high enough that you can get nervous about it, and definitely you have to have the right mindset. And then when you start progressing onto outdoor climbing, routes and stuff like that when you're maybe 20 meters higher. There's this progression.
So can you fall off and survive a 20-meter high fall?
I mean, at that point you're using ropes most of the time.
Oh, right, okay.
Unless you're free soloing, which you can do, but
that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother level of
mindset.
Yeah,
because it's the same technique wherever you're doing it. It's just
different mindset.
Just what you know about what's happening changes.
Yeah.
So the grips are the same.
Yeah,
but
pretty well.
It's just the consequences of when you mess up.
Yeah. Because I mean, the higher you are, generally, obviously, I mean, people are naturally. People always say they're scared of heights, but it's like, well, people are naturally scared of heights because it's not a normal environment that we're in.
Well, I think we're built to be scared of heights, aren't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's an evolutionary trait. If we weren't scared of heights, then we would probably die a lot more from falling off of high things.
Yeah, I think enough of us do it anyway.
So people say, "Oh, you're scared of heights," but you overcome that by training your brain to realise that actually in this environment, if you're climbing outside on a rope and you're attached to that rope and you've got a belayer that's holding you, you do that enough times and you train your brain to realise that it's a safe environment, and but it takes time, and there's that constant progression, not only of a skill, of the movement skill, the strength, building up strength, particularly in your fingers, and also the mindset of pushing your comfort zone constantly.
So there's so that's interesting because the whole mindset thing. I'm very into mindset. I like the ethos behind it. Were you physically in a situation and thinking, "Oh crap, I've got to deal with this," or are you thinking, "I've got to get my mind right so I can do that"?
No, I think you learn the actual skill, the physical skill, before you necessarily need to get the mindset, because you can learn the skill quite low down. So if you're bouldering and in a gym where it's only 4.5 meters, you can get the mindset to get to that skill level. But then you've already got the physical strength and technique skills, so you're just applying that to a higher route if you're climbing outside, for example.
To me, that is really applicable. It's a transferable skill because in as much as I always believed you kind of figured out in your mind how to do it and then you did it. Right? I.e., so like the mind leads the charge. You put your body in a situation and then your mind has to catch up. Your body leads the way. And
your body already knows what to do.
Well, your body, what I'm saying is like your mind follows your body. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like there's times in climbing where you can do something that you're physically able to do. Yeah. But you need to get your mind. But if to do it as well, because if your body is physically capable to do something, but you're 20 meters in the air and you're scared of height or a little bit apprehensive of the height, then your mind will. Well, you need to train your mind to let you do it.
Exactly, but the point is that until you get 20 meters up out of your comfort zone, you will never have to put your mind in a place to get you to do it.
No. Like that's the thing. It's a constant physical battle to progress, but then depending on your comfort zone, you can put your mind constantly push your mental capabilities of putting yourself in like situations that make you quite nervous and.
I was definitely in a nervous situation earlier on today.
Hips in. Now that's it. Both hands. That's it. And now you've got to stand up and throw to that. No, with your left hand. That's why I picked that particular climb as well, because physically I thought it could really challenge you, but also where it's on that top out boulder. And you do have to top out without any holding on to anything. You're just basically flat palms on the top. So you're relying purely on friction. So there's an element of fear in there that I could fall off from, like 4 meters.
Yeah.
And so you do have that slight mental part of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always find that when people get into a hobby or an extreme pursuit, even though it can be really healthy and really good for you and all the rest of it, it's generally because you are looking for something to distract you from other areas of your life. Is that true of you, do you think?
I think, like having something an obsession to kind of latch onto, something that you can just do that will never go away.
Okay, yeah, because obviously we used to be in a band, and that was
an obsession.
But it wasn't a constant because it's reliant upon too many other factors.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. And I've always needed that obsession of something to really focus on, put my energy into, and quite a lot of the time those things have influences that are out of my control.
Yeah.
Like when we were in a band, there's other people that are involved, and they don't always last.
Yeah,
they last a few years.
It's not consistent,
and they're gone. And then you're thinking, and then you've no longer got anything to kind of, put your focus into.
True.
And I think finding climbing was probably one of the few things, or the only thing that I've ever found where you can focus on it and it's got longevity, because you've got that progression. There's a constant progression in it of getting better. There's so many skills that you can learn. There's different types of climbing, and you can pretty much do it your whole life. Like a lot of sports are quite. You need to be young, maybe. As you get older, you kind of get less able to do them because maybe they rely on factors that make it harder to do when you're older. But with climbing, because of the way it works, it's a supportive sport.
What do you mean by a supportive sport?
Well, it's not like rugby where you're like, running and bashing into things. Is
it to do with the community being supportive, or is this...
I think the strain on your body.
Oh, okay.
As in when you're doing certain physical exercises, if you're not getting good support, like swimming, for example, you're fully supported. Cycling.
So we're talking about sort of your skeletal, muscular structure and how your core strength.
Yeah. So it kind of if you're climbing quite statically, which will be not making necessarily big throws or jumps. If you're climbing quite statically, your body is very well supported. You've always got like 3 points of contact,
so if you're doing it properly.
Well, not necessarily. I wouldn't say that's necessarily properly, because there's different. Some people climb more dynamically, where they're using their momentum, which is still quite. I suppose it's still quite supporting your body as well, because it's not. It's your own body weight, isn't it? So it's low impact. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So you can do it and still improve when you get to an older age.
What I'm looking to do is look at what those transferable skills are. People generally need a reason to get into stuff, and if they think it's going to benefit them in a certain way, i.e. this is going to help me in my work life, this is going to help me as a parent, this is going to help me as that, and then what ends up happening is that they do it, and then they do it just for the sake of doing the thing. Right. Like i.e. climbing, you might go, I'm doing this to get fit, and then you end up doing it because you love climbing. Being what's called autotelic. Autotelic is doing something for the love of doing the thing. And we were talking about mindset earlier on.
Climbing is not just about a physical activity, it's also about a mental activity as well, because it's about solving a problem. So when you're presented with a climb, there's the aspect of, well, how do you do it?
And what do you call that? You call that the beta? The beta?
The beta, which is the method of how you do it. So, you need to work that out. So it's not just a case of, there's a climb, I'm going to climb it. You also have the mental aspect that makes you think, makes you work it out. So it's almost basically puzzle. So like puzzles will keep your mind active. Climbing not only keeps your body active, it also keeps your mind active.
Right.
Because you're trying to work out how to do it as well.
Absolutely. So the whole reason you're doing this podcast with me is because part of it is you're my mate, obviously, but the other part is that it kind of scared you a little bit.
Yeah,
took you outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think that's it. It does take you outside your comfort zone. Climbing, you can constantly, and you can do it to the level that this is sound a bit silly, but you can put yourself outside of your comfort zone to the level that you feel comfortable doing. If that makes sense, it
does.
You're not going to
So basically, there's a comfortable uncomfortableness that you can go into, and it's about expanding that level of comfortable.
It's about pushing it, just edging it forward every time. So you got, this is my comfort zone. Okay, I can just edge it up just a little bit, and okay, maybe I might be all right by just pushing it up a little bit more. And you don't necessarily have to go crazy with it. So it's not like you go bouldering once and then the next day you go to Yosemite.
No,
that would be crazy, But you can just, in very small increments, you can continuously push yourself,
So the relative stress that life can give you now becomes less relatively to the stress that you put yourself under in those controlled situations.
Yeah.
So now the situation that would have elevated your cortisol levels X amount now is less relatively, because you've now trained yourself to deal with more stressful situations.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. So like if I'm climbing outside, for example, if I'm getting nervous, being nervous is exactly the same sensation as being excited. So it's essentially training your brain to feel interpret nervousness as excitement.
So how to read routes, is that something that you concentrate on?
Because depending on, you'd look at the route, and depending on the way the holds are placed might depend on which way your body needs to be positioned, what kind of techniques you need to use. Obviously, some things are more advanced than others. You can teach you can teach a lot of technique. Probably the most important things in climbing is like mindset, technique, and then your strength. So it's kind of,
and they're all separate things that you have to work on.
Yeah.
Disciplines. They're all separate disciplines.
All very different. Yeah. You can climb things without technique, but it just makes it a lot harder.
Right.
If you employ the right technique, the right body positions, and understand like the way the body works and the leverages on the body,
body mechanics.
Yeah, basically, the mechanics of the body. Then you can make the same climb, incredibly difficult or really, really easy based on what techniques you use.
I think I made my climb incredibly difficult at points.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Diet. What do you eat to support your climbing habit?
It might not necessarily work for everyone, but I have a low carb, low sugar diet. I don't really eat any potatoes, rice, pasta, or anything that's high in sugar. So essentially dairy, fruit and veg, and then meat.
And does that cause a big improvement in your physical state and your climbing?
For me, like mentally and physically. It might not necessarily work for everyone, but for me personally, it helps keep me lean. And also, I find it's better for my mental state as well if I'm not eating loads of sugar.
So when you are helping, teaching, mentoring, you haven't got much time. They need some help, and you've seen what they need to do. How do you approach that?
To be honest, I don't do that professionally. And if I see someone that's struggling on a climb or they're a beginner, I find it very difficult not to help them. Yeah, I've helped a lot of people progress.
I see that when I go down the gym. Everyone talks to you, and there's a collaborative element. You can tell that they're open to hear what does Justin have to say about this climb.
Well, that's part of it. It's a social sport. So you might not be able to climb something because you don't really know how to do it. So you might talk to other people that might know and might give you ideas on.
So say I'm looking to start a new sport or activity to get my health in check, and you've not tried climbing. What would you say to that person?
I'd say give it a go. It's really, really easy. Everyone's always really friendly at most gyms. Yeah, I think it's multiple things though. It's not just one thing. So,
okay, well, it's a composite of things.
Yeah, because it's a sense of achievement when you push yourself out of your comfort zone. It's also quite sociable. So, you can, it's a way of socialising as well. And also keeping fit mentally and physically.
The University of Utah in 2022, cognitive flexibility and problem-solving abilities increase from climbing. There's a lot of jobs in the world where where you need it. Like for my day job is a software engineer. It's basically problem-solving all day long. I could see that climbing would actually promote the ability of thinking outside of the box to solve issues, finding a route through. So interestingly, fear and performance. A study by the American Alpine Club found that managing fear and anxiety is critical for performance, with 65% of climbers reporting that overcoming mental barriers is more challenging than the physical aspects of climbing. So what they're saying is 65% of climbers are saying that actually the physical stuff is hard, but the mental stuff is a lot harder.
I mean, there's loads of times when I've been stopped from doing something because of how I feel mentally, not because I physically can't do it. But everything changes when you're, 20, 30 metres or whatever, up a cliff.
That's it. Yeah. Your options narrow quite drastically, don't they? Yeah.
Suddenly you start to feel, very different. I think anyone that's looking to improve themselves physically and mentally, if you want to do that, but you don't really know what it is that you need to do to get there, then climbing is definitely the way forward.
How has your experience as a musician influenced climbing? Like where's the Venn diagram crossover?
Is there a Venn diagram crossover between musicians and?
So you have a creative itch, and you also have the ability to be so engaged.
If you get to the point where you're setting routes, so you can actually go and set the problems. That's kind of the creative part of it.
There's a creative point of trying to find the beta, finding your beta, because your body shape's going to be different, surely.
Yeah, because everyone's body shape's going to be different, and they might approach it in a different way. There's always a way that it's set, that it's kind of the way that it's supposed to be set. The way you're supposed to climb it,
the way the person envisaged you doing it when they set it, and then there's the way that you end up doing it.
The way you end up doing it, because your body type might be different. I'm quite tall and I've got long arms, so quite often the way I do things might be different to the way a short person would do it. And I think that's one of the things that I quite like doing. It's called breaking the beta. So when you break the beta, it's you're doing it in a way that it wasn't intended to be done.
Right. Yeah.
But there's no wrong or right way of doing it.
No.
As long as you start in the right place and you finish in the right place.
Yeah.
But that's probably quite creative if you're able to work out a way of doing it in a different way that it was intended in doing it.
Well, just figuring out, because you have to create the way that you actually do it the first time you do it.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't just fall into that position, does it?
And there's multiple ways of doing it. There's multiple ways of climbing a problem. And sometimes you might want to do the same climb, same problem, but do it different ways just to increase your skill set.
If I've literally walked into a climbing gym, what are your top 5 tips for that person? So you've just seen someone walk into a climbing gym, you're like, well, they're green, they need help. What are the first 5 things you tell them?
I think the first one is to have fun. Don't be afraid of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and don't be afraid of speaking to other people that are going to help other people are going to be really friendly and help you. Top 5? Did you say top 5?
Okay, let's make the last 2 like practical things. So for you, because you've been eating it for so long, it's basically like, well, how could this be any other way? But for me, when I went to put my foot down, I can't remember if it was you who said it, but someone was like, no, just put your toe on it.
Yeah, like put your toe on it. Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to do that when you're a beginner. You're going to be all over the place with your feet when you're a beginner. I think at the beginning, you just got to climb. Don't worry about like
the fine detail.
Yeah,
just get yourself going.
Just
get moving.
If you're a beginner, then you've just got to climb and enjoy it and talk to other people that will help you get better. Without
revealing too much about the outcome of what happened, can you run through your thought process about what you challenged me to do?
I did. To be honest, I didn't really know what level you were going to be at because you've climbed a couple of times before in the past. That was a really long time ago, and I know you haven't done it in a while. So I wanted to give you something as a challenge that I didn't really think you were going to do, to be honest, but there was the potential that I could give you small pieces of advice that would help you to complete the climb. I wouldn't have necessarily put a bet on you whether you would have done it or not, because to be honest, I think it was quite hard. But also, I picked something that I think it was possible for your morphology. Morphology, is that even a word? Morphology.
Don't know, it sounds cool though. I don't know what morphology is, but
your body type.
I want to be morphologistic. I don't know if that's a word either.
No, so I wanted to do pick something that I think would be challenging for you, and there would be a chance that you might not do it. It would be really boring if it was too easy.
Right. Okay. Well, it definitely wasn't easy. I can say that much.
No, I mean, to be fair, the climb I picked was, I would say, definitely not a beginner climb.
No.
But I felt that it would have been suited for your height. Because it was definitely one that was suited better for tall people. And you are quite tall. But yeah, also, I had no idea whether you would be capable of doing it.
Cool. Well, shall we find out whether I did it or not?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look and see whether I did it or not.
So, for this, it's quite a hard climb, but you need to undercling this. A nice big hold, so although it's hard, you just stand right up into it and put your hips in so that your weight is going through your feet.
Right.
And then, essentially, you come up to this, and this is a much nicer hold, and then you're standing up and just grabbing that. Once you've done that, you're pretty much to the top.
What is it?
So if you basically grab here, you want to grab it hard, get your
And
right
this one,
foot.
so from this angle like
this. And then essentially you're now
outside
pulling.
of the foot?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, or the pull as hard as you can as you stand up and get your left foot in there. You need to put your hips in, and then you've got to basically come up to this with both hands after that. So get a start, hips in. Now that's it, both hands. That's it, and now
what?
Now you've got to stand up and throw to that. No, with your left hand. Yeah, but now try it with your left first. Just stand up and get it with your left. Tense your core. That's it. Now get your right foot on there. That's it. And now you need to stand up and grab the top of the wall.
Is there anything?
No, it's just flat. That's it. And then get it with your second hand.
Should I do that?
Yes, I'd stand up, but you want to get your right foot up here. You see that? But you need to stand up a little bit first. That's it. Get the left foot up higher. That's it. Bit higher. Next one. Okay. And get your left foot up. That's it. Yeah. Keep those hips in.
Reach up.
Yeah, with the left. Well done. So step through with your right foot. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And now stand up to the top. Get the top with that right hand. Now get your left foot up high. No. Keep your right on there. Get your left foot up high onto the top. Yeah, that's it. Now Now stand up and get your right foot on the hole that's it, up there, that's it. Now get both hands on top. Both hands. Get your palms flat on top. That's it, get the other one out. Push, do them, push. Push with your leg. And now get Oh my God. That is totally impressive. Well done.
So where can people find you, Jack?
Instagram, Jack Climbs.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.